To GhettoRig episode number 20. We got another panel for you guys, another guest in the house, and we should be talking about some ratchet stuff. Again, thanks for supporting. And if you're already on a stream, go ahead hit that like button right away, guys. This way you don't have to worry about doing it later. But without further ado, I'm gonna give you some news and updates and whatnot. So we're pretty much down to going, posting videos on a regular and also clips and shorts. So go ahead and, watch those. We just kind of clip them all up and whatnot. You're going to get a video and
For those of you who can't consume 2 hours all the time.
Yeah, for all of you with short attention span. So you're going to get a clip, which can range somewhere between 4 minutes to all the way 20 minutes. And then you'll get 2 shorts on the days that we're not going live. And we are actually seriously thinking about adding another day to the week. So we'll go live 3 times a week. And the schedule is packed. I'm going to give you some hints here.
Oh, yeah, I got another person that's for sure coming on as well.
Yeah, so we're a couple of weeks out with a bunch of new guests coming in and whatnot. Okay, with that, let's get started. Obviously, y'all know a lot of us, so
The odd one out, let's just go with your name real quick.
All right, my name is Rodolfo. Nice to meet y'all.
So to be honest with you, I really like in our conversation. So let's talk about how you're never gonna buy a Volkswagen.
All right, sure, go ahead, continue.
And you said the Audi thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Same shit, right?
So it's not necessarily all the same shit.
Okay.
Right, so if you get something like the A4, and then you compare it to like a Passat, yeah, it's the same thing. You don't do it. Yeah, you don't. You just don't do it. But then yeah, of course, fucking Aussie's Audi. That's not a fucking Volkswagen. It's more almost like a Lamborghini, really.
Well, it is a Lamborghini.
Yeah,
because the engine, chassis, everything, it's all Lamborghini.
It's like a Lamborghini, really. It has the same drivetrain as a Lambo.
So
are you buying it for me or Jay?
It's like that, quarter mil or something like that? Some crazy shit?
No, it's not that much.
It gets up there. I think it's like 180.
Yeah, it gets up there, but it's not that much. But yeah, so VWs or Audis, man, no. It's probably the worst thing you can do.
Yeah, unless it's like a really, like, for example.
Now here's the thing.
One of my favorite cars is an Audi. They have their wagons are really, really nice. Like the RS4 or the RS 5 and 6 Avant is what they call them, and they're like really nice sport wagons. The new one came out like V8 twin turbo hybrid, stupid fast. But yeah, that's not a Volkswagen. That's a.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, in my opinion, if you're gonna lease a Volkswagen, fine, you don't have to worry about it. But if you're gonna buy one, bruh, expect in 4 years, something breaking on it, and expect in 4 years to start shelling out a lot of money, and then you're gonna get to the point where about 7 to 8 years into it, that repairs are gonna cost more than the actual car is worth. It's probably one of the fastest depreciating cars out there, Volkswagen and Audi.
Yeah, so I've been reminded 100 times. Yeah, I stay away from them. It's just, I'd rather not have to go through all that. So.
But hey, the thing is now, is you have to sell one now.
Yeah, I'll figure all that out later.
I'll figure all that out later.
So tell us more about, like, I'm sure people always wonder.
You already
transferred over for the most part. So basically,
like your other job already knows.
Put in my 2
okay,
weeks
cool.
Notice. Yeah, it's fully. I'm a fully transfer over. Hopefully in like 2 weeks. So I'm excited. It should be pretty fun. I just gotta learn a whole nother world for the most part.
So tell me a little more about, because a lot of people don't know how the dealerships work, and I mean, if you can reveal that information and whatnot.
Actually,
but
so I'm not too 100% that I can reveal it or not, but it's not what I expected for the most part. And since I'm also coming into this brand new, I also don't know too much. Now, if you were to ask me how was my sales job at where I was at, different story. Now I can uncover and
So
tell you guys a little bit about
you
that.
kind of just got the job, so you don't really know.
Exactly. So I mean, I was.
But we can talk about selling dogs though.
Sure, if you want.
And now you know now you don't even work for the motherfuckers no more.
Yeah, I don't have no problem indulging that information. I mean, what do you guys want to know? Do you guys have a specific question? Or?
Yeah, let's talk about exotic dogs, right? Because
Okay.
a lot of people, when they're getting a dog, it's usually like they'll go to a pound and then they'll adopt a dog or whatever, or they'll go on Craigslist whatever and pay the $200 to $500 and buy a dog. But in your case, that was a little bit different.
Yes. So
You're on the whole opposite end of that.
Petland, you also got to understand. So when you're talking about exotic animals, that's not Petland. Petland's goal is to match, the average person out there in the world to the right dog that we have. So we're getting just your regular breed. So your golden retrievers, your beagles, your shih tzus, your yorkies, whatever you guys want. So if you're talking more of like the exotic bullies and stuff like that, now you're talking about like out of my expertise. But for the dogs that we do
Channel
get,
1 and 4 turn up a little bit on the bear.
we try to focus
Just a little bit.
on, making sure we're using
Tiny.
we're trying to make sure we
like
use
that.
great breeders. So for as long as I've worked at Petland, I'm not gonna lie to you guys.
Thank you.
Behind the scenes, I was shocked at first, just because of how expensive our puppies are and stuff like that. After being there for about a year and a half, I've become a little more comfortable knowing where our puppies come from. Like we could be worse, is what I'm saying. So we have no. We have pet stores.
Bridget.
We have
Bridget. It
I
could be
mean,
worse than Bridget.
if you're talking about price, no. We're definitely the most. We're probably the priciest store.
You were.
anywhere.
You were.
Were sure. We still are.
They still are.
Yeah.
It's not a we anymore, it's them.
The most priciest store in the area. I mean, if you go down the street from us, you can find
shit's
the
crack,
same
though,
dogs we're selling for $2,000, $3,000, maybe even $1,500 and stuff like that. Going to Petland, you are not going to find that. But it's not. It depends what you're looking for. So you guys brought up how some people go to the pound. So when I have customers that come in and they're telling me what they're looking for and stuff like that, I really get to know what they're looking for. So if you got a family at home and you're just trying to get a dog that all you have to do is potty train, Petland is the most perfect thing. Only because we give off professional training for the first 6 weeks of your dog. You're going to get a vet sent home with you where you get certain discounts. We also have like warranties with our puppies. So like if you buy the dog from us and then in 14 days your dog gets sick with some like bacterial viral problems, we take care of it. And then we also cover the dog's first 10 years of its life with any hereditary or congenital issues. So anything that's handed down from like the parents or anything like that. So if you want a dog that's like set for your family, just a family dog or whatever, we're probably the best place to go to. But if you got time on your hands, you're single, have your own place, and you're looking for a companion or whatever, then that's where I open the idea to adopting from the shelter. But that takes a lot more time. You don't know if that dog's going to be food aggressive, toy aggressive, just aggressive in general.
I had a dog bite at me today.
So I mean, that's kind of the go around. You kind of gotta. I just try to figure out what people need.
Yeah. So what were the average prices of dogs at Petland? Let's talk about them.
5 to 8K.
5 to 8K.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm going to the pound if I need a dog.
5 to
Just
8K.
saying.
So
I'm
I mean,
going
it
to
just
Craigslist.
depends what you're looking for.
I'm going to Craigslist.
So
Yeah.
Personally, I'll go to Craigslist.
So
So like
you-
Facebook Marketplace. I got really lucky doing that.
Him for instance, him and his sister got really lucky. They got dogs for $200-300 that look like they could be fully AKC registered, maybe even show dogs. Their dogs look great for $200-300. I personally wouldn't recommend anybody out there to spend less than like $1,000.
Let's talk about your dog a little bit. Why not?
Go for it.
It was free.
My dog.
It was
It's
free.
hilarious.
Yeah, my dog was free. I got it from a coworker, but he's a pit bull mixed with the dachshund, so a wiener dog.
He
So
kind
just
of
think of like a
he
pit bull.
he kind of looks like me.
pit bull with
He's
short
short
legs.
and stocky.
Think of like a pit bull with short legs. I don't know if I can
Like
find a
like
photo.
not just like he's short legged. No, like T-Rex.
They're like
Short
short
legs.
and like crooked.
See, I got a lot of photos of
hella
him like
muscular.
laying down and in weird positions, I guess you can say, but I don't know if we're gonna be able to pull this up.
You can actually, if you send it to my Instagram or the GhettoRig Instagram, Mickey has it up on the computer.
If you wanna, fuck it, I'll just do this. Do I hand it to you? I'm gonna hand it to you.
You can just point it
Oh,
towards the
there
camera.
you go. So he's a funny looking guy. He's he's cute. He's a block of muscle. That dude's like
muscular.
maybe a foot off the ground on all fours, and he weighs 50 pounds.
A
so,
foot.
Yeah.
A
maybe.
foot.
I don't think he's a foot off
He's
the
like
ground.
he's like
flat.
mid
He's
No,
pushing
no.
like
Well,
8
if you're
inches.
counting the
Nah,
top of his
he's
back,
like a-
yeah, but I thought
just
you
at the
meant
back.
his feet.
Just at the
I
back.
can
I'm not
say
talking
he's-
about his head.
I could say he could get to 13 inches if you.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
He's like a foot, but
We'll give him a foot and a half to be generous, whatever.
Yeah.
But He was given to me for free by a coworker. Basically, I took him in due to some certain circumstances and stuff, and he grew on me and stuff like that. So he might not be the ideal puppy I sought out for, but he's grown on me, and now I wouldn't trade him for anything in the world, basically. But yeah, he's a funny guy. Not everybody sees that kind of mix on like a daily basis. Like how often do you see?
Who was the
He's
mom? Who was the
interesting.
dad? Do you know?
So yeah, the dad was full pit, and the mom was half and half. So he's like quarter wiener dog. But
Oh, so the mom was a quarter wiener, quarter
yeah,
pit.
no,
So
no,
the
no.
mom
half
was kinda
pit,
like
half
him?
wiener. Sure. Yeah, a little bit bigger. The dad was full.
The
pit.
mom was half.
Yeah.
So he's quarter.
And he got mom's legs,
He's
dad's
just
body.
missing- Yeah, I guess so.
Basically.
He's just missing the legs, man. If his legs grew a little bit longer,
Bro,
he'd be almost
I
a bit.
remember when he got the dog, and he
was really
he was
cute when he
getting
was tiny,
thick.
though.
He was getting thick. He got that big head, the big paws, and I just kept telling Rodolfo, "Bro, the legs are gonna
He's gonna
grow
get
in.
bigger.
The legs are gonna grow in." The legs just never
They
came.
never came in, man.
They never came. They still haven't got here yet.
When
So-
they're dividing legs for dogs, he was out of town at that moment.
He drew the short straw.
He didn't go to school today to learn how to grow legs.
So this was him when he was like a baby.
Mhm.
He was like running around. I'd throw the ball. He was
So you just look at him like, "Oh, it's a normal little pit."
Yeah.
But But yeah,
when he
no,
was little,
um,
he looked normal, but as he started to grow is when you realized.
yeah, I mean, my dog, you're definitely not gonna want to go pay $1,000 for. You feel me? That's not a breed you want to go out and ball out on. But I mean, there are people out there who actually want like specific breeds. Like for instance, we had a customer walk in who I sold a bull mastiff to. So bull mastiff, you're talking about a 100-pound dog, whatever. It fluctuates. But the specific bull mastiff that I sold to him, we had the paperwork and everything. The parents' bloodline was AKC champion bloodline, and champion just necessarily means that they won a dog show through the AKC and they won first place.
Yeah.
But both parents had champion, and then the dad was also grand champion. I think grand champion is you got to win 2 at first place, and so they wanted that specific pup, and so I think that one they got it for, if I remember correctly, I think they spent like 7 or 8 grand out the door. So I mean, like I said, if you want a specific pup, pure breed, whatever, then you're gonna want to pay money for it. Do I necessarily know the market outside of my store, outside of Petland? Not necessarily. I haven't done too much research on the market, so I mean, maybe the markup is crazy in my store, but I do think we put quality pups out there compared to other stores and backyard breeders that I've seen.
Got you. I don't know. I find it weird. I had actually a question. Have you seen the mix that Nala and Zeus come through? Like that you guys have
The
sold?
X-Cross?
Yeah. So
we get
like specifically the German Shepherd with the Belgian.
Mixed with the Belgian. Yeah, we get them. They're an X-Cross is basically what they're known to be called, I guess you could say. They're cool. I think a lot of people like the cross better because a full Belgian is,
A crackhead.
yeah, it's like a German Shepherd on crack. That's the way I like to explain it. So it's
is.
a lot for some people. Like some people really don't know. Like my girl's family, they got a husky, and man, huskies are probably the hardest dogs to train. They're just the most to deal with, but they got lucky. I mean, their dog is pretty well behaved. It could be a lot worse. But I mean, you got to put the time and energy to dogs like that, like the Belgian as well. You got to mentally exhaust them, physically exhaust them. If not, they're just gonna tear your couches up, your bedroom door, whatever. They're gonna tear through whatever they can get through. I
My
swear.
office in my house, the door, the molding around the door is all chewed through.
Yeah.
Because they left Zeus in there one day by himself.
Yeah, when they get bored, man, they'll tear through. They'll tear up
that
things.
was when you guys were in Colombia, I think, and we had like the girls' party.
Yeah.
We locked him in
Yeah.
there since he can hear all the girls like laughing,
wanted
talking,
to
whatever.
join, man.
He
Yeah,
was
he wanted to go
freaking
have fun.
out, and then I eventually went and opened. And when I opened, I was like, "Oh my god!" I
Oh
was
yeah.
like, "Lynette?"
Alex has a husky. He this is hilarious.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
but-
They love to talk.
But Ginger doesn't. Ginger.
Ginger
Yeah,
will
I've
in
never
certain
seen her.
cases. So Ginger,
I've
when
heard
she's
Jorge
excited,
and them telling me about her talking, but
Yeah,
I've
they
never seen
told
her.
stories, but I've never
Yeah.
seen her.
when
actually
she's
doing it.
excited or wants to play, she'll start talking and stuff, try to get your attention. But I mean, that's just a husky known thing. Huskies love to talk. So.
I wonder why that is.
How big is your husky, Alex?
Is it a
Because
puppy?
Ginger is what, about
Ginger's
50
probably like
pounds?
50 pounds, 60
50
pounds.
pounds.
Maybe
Nah,
60
she's
to
less
70.
than
what's
because
the-
Nala is about 60 pounds.
No, Nala's 75 pounds, brother.
Nala is 75.
Yeah.
So Zeus is only 10 pounds heavier than Nala.
No, Zeus is 92 right now.
Oh,
Zeus
he's
is
been on a
heavy.
diet.
And he's been on
He's
a
been on
diet.
a Nala diet. He hasn't touched single food since Nala in heat. He hasn't. He
Oh, yeah.
doesn't eat.
But yesterday I talked to them and they said he was still 92 last. That
Oh,
was
30
the weight.
pounds. 30 pounds.
Oh,
But,
it's a small one.
yeah, it's a small husky, and that's another thing is that a lot of huskies sometimes, depending on where you get it from, is there's something called Pomskis and Alaskan Klikais. They're like miniature versions of huskies. So like if you don't have like AKC paperwork for your husky or whatever, no, I'm not gonna say all the time, but sometimes they could have Pomsky or the Alaskan Klikai in their bloodlines, and they'll tend to be a little smaller, more in like the 30 to 50 pound
Got you.
area.
Even though they'll be like, oh, it's a
Huskies are supposed to be anywhere between like 40 like 70 pounds, like average weight.
yeah. Sounds kind of like Malinois. Malinois, I
Yeah,
think, are like
yeah.
supposed to be like
Yeah,
35
well-
to 60
Yeah, they're a little more lean.
usually. Yeah. No, then you got shepherds that'll go all the way to 90,
Yeah.
100 even, right?
An old coworker that I used to work with at Petland before she got fired or quit or whatever.
think
She got a German Shepherd from our store. The parents' weight, I think, were at 80 and like 90, and her dog's like 110.
87
shit.
says Arthur right now.
Yeah, yeah. He's been. I'm telling you, he's been on a Nala diet.
How? Damn, what was I gonna ask? Melon.
Ginger.
No.
So with the dog, now how was the hiring process? Was it fast?
So yeah, for me, I kind of had someone that.
Well, we're
worked
talking
for
about
me.
him. Oh, okay, you didn't say what kind of job you're gonna get, right? We just kind of talked about
Yeah,
it. but-
exactly. So right now, I was at Petland. I'm transferring over to car sales. It's more of like I guess you can say a bigger.
When you
league.
say transferring
how
over, is
heavy
it the
was
same
Blue, you
company
know?
or?
No,
it's
no,
a-
no, no, completely different companies. What I mean by transfer, I'm just leaving.
Yeah,
I'm
Yeah.
switching companies.
white
I'm
shepherd.
gonna go
He
from
was
selling
big.
puppies to
He
selling
was
cars. It's a different league. You feel me? Yeah. Cars are definitely more purchased than puppies, and I think so. At least everybody needs a car for the most part. So I'm hoping it has a bigger.
And the thing is, for the
paycheck.
most part, like if you're trying to get a reliable car, you're gonna go to a dealership.
And a lot of
With
people.
dogs, a lot of people go on
And
Craigslist
a lot of,
Marketplace, and
Correct.
there's more places to go to other than like a
And a
store.
lot of Europeans look at Volkswagen as a cheap, reliable car. And the Americans have now got into that too. Like that's one of the reliable cars of like Hyundai and Kia. It's kind of in that grouping. I feel like, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
I
straight
mean,
up.
they have their nicer Volkswagens still, right? Like the especially like some of their SUVs that are maybe not in that same category. But of course, the Passat, the Jetta, the Golf, those are all
Jetta is the quintessential white girl car. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
if you're a white
Yeah,
girl,
or like
and
a
especially if
Passat.
you're a
In high
nurse,
school,
you
all
have a
over the
Jetta.
parking lot.
Yes, they were.
Yeah. I'm just hoping everything, goes smoothly because I went from, selling puppies. I mean, how many people here are going to buy 5,000 to 8,000 puppies?
None of us in this
So,
house will spend that
not
money.
many people like that. That's where, building.
Ain't
the
nobody
value
buying
of
a goddamn
I
Volkswagen
spent-
either.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe if you got
I-
a used car lot that has like different shit, you never know.
Hey,
but-
Lynette's first car was almost a Volkswagen, actually.
Yeah.
I remember.
That's why that's why it was.
Yeah, almost.
Oh, almost.
Yeah, almost was a Volkswagen.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm just hoping it brings more opportunity. Everybody's
So,
chasing a check. So
What's gonna be your? Because I know like a lot of people have. So I've heard different things. I've heard that car salesmen have commissions, and then car salesmen also get paid hourly. Like, what's the structure
So,
there?
usually when you go to
How much you getting paid? No,
usually
No,
when you go
that's
to
not
most
much.
commission jobs, they'll have basically like a backup pay. So if you don't make enough in commissions, you'll get paid like an hourly.
that sounds
Like
pretty.
at Petland,
yeah.
it's the same thing.
A
So
lot of
at
places
Petland,
have
we
that.
get a certain percent of commission. I don't know if it doesn't really matter. We get 5% commission is what we make. And then basically, if you don't make enough in commissions, you get paid hourly for the hours that you work throughout the pay period.
But isn't it only
So,
like $8 an hour? Or
It's
something?
11. They pay the minimum wage hourly. It could have been like $8 an hour if they really wanted to, because I think commission jobs is kind of like serving. Like
Yeah.
when you're getting tips, you can pay below the minimum wage. But the same thing at the dealership. So they told me it was a little confusing the way he told me, but I know I'm going to be making 14% commission. It works a little differently than I thought, but it's in between the differences of two numbers. I'm assuming cost and whatever you sell it at, of course. But you'll be making 14%, and if you don't hit commission, which they told me is like super rare,
Well, of course
you'll
they
get
don't
the
tell you
hourly,
super
and I don't know what the hourly is right now, but I'm hoping to find out sooner than later.
Yeah.
1998 Hondas for yeah,
You know
yeah,
what-
that's pretty much
You
it.
know what's crazy is that we thought that all these cars were gonna get cheaper, like the cars that we would see, like even like the pieces of shit, like the things that we know to be pieces of shit, right? And then they're just like they're still selling for like 4, 5, 6K, and it's like that thing should be $500.
Yeah, cause see, like you gotta think about it in the sense of like economy, right? Like it's all it's all supply and demand. So if you have a household of 2 people working and making money, obviously car prices can be more now, because now people can afford to spend more money. See what I mean? Because back in the day when there was only one person working in a household, prices were not that high. Because there's only so much money. Because people vote with their wallet, right? So if people stop buying the cars at that price, like everybody, if you had a switch and you turn the switch on, and let's say
Yeah,
VW GTI, they're getting a GTI, and people will not pay more than $15,000 for a
It'll
brand new
fall.
one. What do you think is gonna happen? The price is gonna go
It has to
down.
fall,
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
the thing is, like, it's gonna continuously climb, and it's gonna continuously climb at a higher rate. It's just how much people are willing to pay for it.
That's why a lot of our beloved sports cars are actually becoming cheaper. Not like cheaper, but relative to what
affordable.
they were before.
Well, so in a car industry, like there's this thing that happened a couple of years ago, and I don't know if you've noticed, but not. Remember back in the day, Honda used to have Accord that was 2-door.
Yeah.
Bunch of cars. Nissans had 2-door. Altimas.
Yeah, all the coupes and stuff.
They got rid of him.
Yeah.
Because who drives a 2-door car?
Nobody.
It's usually
Nobody
it's
anymore.
usually assumed as a sports car, and it's usually a guy that would buy it, right?
Yeah.
But because cars are so expensive, what they shifted and started doing is they started making 4-door cars that are fast, but they're only 4, so you can buy it for a family, but then also have a fast car. So the
Yeah.
2-door cars effectively are disappearing, and then there are only certain brands that still produce. Like Nissan has their
The
400Z, and then Honda basically doesn't have any 2-door cars unless you're looking at a Civic, which is super rare now. You know what I mean?
They still come the Civics 2-door and but yeah, the Accord hasn't come 2-door in a while.
But then as a guy, let's say that's earning, let's say
But
70.
didn't they coming with the Integra? Isn't that going to be 2-door?
I don't know. So as a guy that's making, let's say, $70,000 and want to buy a Honda sports car, they don't have one. They don't have a 2-door sports car. They're all 4-door. So you still have.
Buy your Lexus again.
Lexus has 2-door. As a matter of fact, they have 2-door cars. And then the higher end still do. Higher end, like Mercedes has 2-door cars. The Lexus has 2-door cars. Toyota has just a Supra and then TC, right? So, not TC, but Supra and
The 86.
86.
I was
And then-
scrolling through Instagram today, and I came up across with a video of Patrick B. Davidson or David. B.
Patrick
David.
Dave.
He was
Bet
talking
David.
about how car payments have been increasing. Well, the minimum wage or just base salary pay still has remained the same.
Yes.
Like $40,000 car, 3-4 years ago we were paying $500 monthly. Now we're
Yes.
paying $800. We're still making the same pay.
Yes, and I know exactly which one you're talking about. He was talking about when he went to buy a car for his dad. He's like, get whatever you want, Mercedes. Where he's like, no, I just want a simple car. And they're like, how much is the payment on this thing? Well, it's interest rate. Obviously, the interest rate is super high. That has an effect in it. But
Correct.
then also the prices of the cars are super high too, right? Like again, if you can afford to pay because there's 2 working people in a household, prices are gonna be through the roof. And then another thing is, what happens when you increase minimum wage?
Inflation.
Inflation, because companies know they can extract more money, right? So they're gonna extract more money. You cannot blame the company for extracting more money. They're in business to
they
make
can
money,
do
not
it.
to lose money.
They know they can do it, so that's why they're doing it. And they know people are gonna pay for it. It's as simple as that.
And then to answer your question, Art, I seen your question. I'm going to the Low Key dealerships. It's over there by Countryside Mall.
Yeah. So
Low-key Volkswagen.
Yep, Low Key Volkswagen.
all right. So
If a German comes in, you gotta say it right. Volkswagen.
Okay.
Volkswagen. All right. So, hey, Damaris, what's going on? So since yesterday you had a question for us, now we want to ask you the same
I
question.
already answered the question on the chat. You guys didn't see it?
No, knife in your back or dick in your ass.
You gotta pull that thing out your booty because that shit is not flying. You gotta leave this. You gotta leave the knife in your back. Man. Deal with that later, man. Nah, but you can't catch me in that predicament. I don't know.
With a knife in your back or dick in your back?
Neither.
Hey, let's try one of the clips, just to see if it's going, and then hey guys, give us a thumbs up in the chat if you can hear the
There's
clip going.
on Instagram. You just brought him up, so might as well put that one.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Patrick Bet David clip. Here, you want me to go over there and show you, or you need? Let me know.
The Patrick B. David clip on Instagram.
Instagram, right there. Yep, that top one, on the top. Yep.
Hold on, let me switch the.
All right, while he's doing that, so you got the cars, like, so the commission's gonna work differently. I think that's a pretty good job. I think you should spend about a year or 2 years doing that, because if anything, that's gonna teach you so much people skills, like dealing with different types of people. I think that's gonna be essential. And then if you can go into high ticket sales down the road, you're gonna make hell amount of money.
What do you have the Windows audio
I
set
agree.
to?
I'm sticking with sales for
The
right
Windows
now.
audio?
Petland
the
was
bottom
my
right.
first job in sales, and I decided to try it out. I didn't know I was in the hourly thing. I
Like,
was working with the city,
it's just
la di da
zero.
da, whatever.
Huh?
It's just
And then when I
zero,
see the
audio
potential
capture.
money you could make in sales, me being
on
the
the
person I am, I'm an outgoing
general
person. I like
device,
to talk
the
to
bottom
people,
right.
I guess you could say.
Because right
Um,
now,
The bottom right
finding
of
people that
Windows.
can sell high ticket items are the hardest
Yeah,
thing to
now
do.
they're-
Yeah, I'm hoping, man. The
And if you can
dealership-
sell it in reality, you
reset
can
to
make
these.
shit ton
So
of
the
money.
Baron
Yeah,
thing.
I mean the dealership was giving me high hopes. I
couldn't
mean
hear it?
they
You couldn't
were
hear
telling me that
Yeah,
someone
'cause
there,
this
or
reset to the
when
manager.
I was getting interviewed, that someone there was making 20,000 that month just off commission. So I'm hoping.
Yeah, I wouldn't
Yeah,
go
that's
with
a
that.
great
I
thing.
wouldn't. I
Dash
wouldn't.
two.
I wouldn't go with expectations. You know what I mean? I would
Yeah.
just go in, do your best. You know what I mean? Try to make the money, but look at it more like getting the experience of being a salesman.
1-2.
Yeah, I mean they told me they like to promote within, and I know we know my nephew knows
Take
the
four-
manager
I can hear
at
it.
the sales, and they got a great salary, a 6-figure salary. I think it was like 250 is what we heard that the guy was making. So if they're promoting within the company, I'm hoping to like work my way up slowly, but we'll see.
Yeah, just get the sales job in, and then when time comes for you, whether you're gonna stay there or you're gonna move up in a company, you'll decide at that point.
Yeah.
But getting down the roads, because being in an industry that I am,
Mhm.
the guys that make most money are the ones that are selling.
Yeah.
Right? Like I don't obviously, without talking about CEOs and upper management, meaning like directors and things like
Yeah.
that. The guys that are like at normal level that are making most money are the ones that's selling, because the bottom line is this. You got to think about it this way. Like there was a whole huge uproar in USF when they found out that the dean of USA is getting $1 million a year to be the dean of USF, right? And the whole thing was like they're looking at that number saying, okay, it's $1 million. That's a lot of money. But what they're not looking at is how much money this lady is bringing in. Because for her to get $1 million and be a dean of USF, she had to bring in at least 2 to 3 times that amount of money to USF, right? So the bottom line is, when somebody becomes a CEO of a company, it's not because they're earned
Earnings
the
or so,
right, or
yeah,
they
yeah.
went through school and they grew up through ranks. No, it's about how much money they can bring in, what kind of connections they have, and things like that.
Oh, that's interesting. So, would you put your consciousness into something?
Into an Android.
No, I personally wouldn't. Not until, I mean, even though it's bad to think like this, I guess you can say, not until enough people have done it to where I know I'm going to be valid. You feel me? I'm going to be straight.
Battery running low. Shut down.
So
Listen.
they just take
Hey,
over
you
your
just take
function.
that old battery
no, like
out, nigga, and pop in a new one. Y'all had Androids before? When I used to buy, back then when I had my little Android, I used to have a Sidekick 4G, the one that slides up and has the keyboard. I bought an extra, additional, battery pack for it. And anytime my phone was down, I just popped this sucker out, popped the new one back in, 100%, nigga, in 5 seconds.
Listen,
that was one of the things they hated when they took out of, because Samsung used to have that, where you could take out the battery and replace it out.
I did it with my Galaxies, yeah.
Yeah.
listen.
Galaxies, yeah.
If like right now with the channel, with my work, and then some other stuff that I'm doing, sleep gets in my way. I wish I could have another 12 hours throughout the day,
I know, right?
But the thing is, if I don't have to sleep, right? Y Jodiendo feels the same way. You know what I mean? I'm down. Let's do it.
So I would be very interested in the fact of how he's saying, you wouldn't need to sleep, right? You would just connect, right? It's like you keep functioning.
You'll be at your charger, but then you can continuously work. You plug that shit up your
Portable
butt,
adapter.
and then you just keep
But
working.
then
You
a lot
keep
of
editing shorts.
cons, bro. How does your sensations, how does senses, how do they translate senses
Might
good
fade
enough?
the more you use it.
You ever seen that?
And
You
they
might
can just
start
control
glitching,
you.
like, you know, after
It's
you
like
have
it's
a
like how they
phone
talk
for
about
a
electric
little while.
cars that like you think the government could just take control of it, right? Like the same thing. They want to send you wherever to be a soldier wherever.
You won't even know what happened.
Yeah, they just shut you off.
You'll
You
really
won't-
be in the
they just
Matrix.
use-
It's not like we're not being used right now, bro. We're being used. Like
Yeah.
unless you're part of that top echelon that like makes the rules, you're being used anyway, right?
Yeah.
So, but the bottom line is, to me, like, you know, if I can be more productive, just think about it. Like, you're sitting there and you wanna learn something, and then immediately, like, you know, but push of a button, you upload the information and you got it.
Let's pull up that clip now.
Yeah,
you got
go
it
ahead.
ready, I think.
So I think I would do it. I
Alright.
would do it.
Ready?
Yeah.
Yeah.
4 subjects: sales, negotiation, human nature, and money. You read those 4 topics, 2 years. Work your ass off, come back to me 2 years from now. Matter of fact, you won't even come back to me because you forgot about it because you're killing the marketplace. The market rewards people who outwork and out-improve. It's called work your ass off and improve. I challenge.
So, human nature, money, negotiation, and business. Right?
Mhm.
Are the things he said.
So he talks about, if you watch his podcast, it talks about, I think he took about 2 years. He went through adversity, like through jobs and things like that. He wasn't doing too well in school and whatever, but he said he must have read 5,000.
Snowflake.
Yeah, he must have read 5,000 books or something like that. Everything he could possibly learn about like sales and stuff like that. And he's basically attributing that, like, to business, not sales, to business. He's attributing those books that he read to the success that he has. Now, I had a conversation with this guy that I know, you know, and my thing was, you know, and I was saying, listen, hard work and hard work with consistently doing hard work, consistent, and
The
consistently
biggest thing
working
is
on things
consistent.
that makes things work. It's not sexy, it's not fun. Consistently doing the same shit will make you better,
It's
at it,
hard.
right?
It's not fun.
Yeah.
It's
So
hard.
and then this guy's thing was like, well, so you're trying to say you work harder than somebody else? I'm like, yeah. He goes, no, it's because you are what's the word
Discipline?
that liberals love to use? Like
Oh,
you're I had like help or whatever.
Privilege.
Advantages and privileges. I'm like, no, bro, it's not, has nothing to do with me
Yeah.
being privileged or advantaged. Like, you know, when I want to learn something, I'm like a bulldog. I'll grab onto it and I'll try to consume as much information as possible, as little time as possible, and I'm trying to replicate it over and over and over and over again. And I've noticed that, you know, anything like with this video editing, for the first week I was going crazy. I couldn't figure it out. And after a week I was already cranking them out. And now it's just making it, streamlining it and making them faster, right? So in my opinion, yeah, like what he said is 100% correct. You know, like if you put into it, and I don't care like how smart or how dumb you are, if you put in the consistent work into something that you truly want to learn, there's not gonna be a problem. It's the shit that you don't want to learn
Yeah.
that's hard. That you're like, ah, man, I don't really want to deal with this. You know what I mean?
What the hell? Anyways, what I thought about with the whole human nature thing too was like, I remember when I work at Best Buy, right? That like they had to kind of like would have us like want to sell like a robot, right? Like a set, like almost like not like a script, but like a set manner to how to sell everything to everybody.
I mean, no matter where you go in sales, it's always gonna be like that. They're
Yeah.
always gonna have like some kind of scripture.
But
for
that's
you to go
so
off
that's
of.
so like wrong.
Where people fail
Manipulative?
Not manipulative. No,
necessarily.
you need to be manipulative. I think.
Yeah,
as a
people are
salesman.
always
correct.
trigger shy.
Right. So as what I mean by that is that if you stick to that script most of the time, people like hate that. They like to see through that most of the time. The majority are just like, oh, this guy's just like trying to sell.
So exactly.
If
So-
you can like as a salesman, I learned to read somebody's almost body language immediately and know how to treat them. Some people like when you're assholes, like you barely give them attention, and that's what they want.
the majority of the time, what I would say is through sales, from what I've learned, a lot of the times is that a lot of people want to push their product before they even sell themselves. So one thing about it, for instance, in my interview, the owner of the dealership, when he asked me, he ended
Building
up asking
rapport.
me, he was like, what would make you a great salesperson or whatever, right? And I ended up giving him my answer, and he told me, "Oh, you almost answered it perfectly," or whatever. So what a lot of people fail to realize is you got to sell yourself before you sell anything. So if you go up to a customer and you're consistently shoving a product in their face, no one wants to hear that, bro. No one wants to listen to you talk.
People
or
do
anything like
business
that.
with people
So
they
you
like.
got to build the rapport with them. You gotta connect with them. You gotta get them to. What I like to do is get them to talk about themselves. So, for instance, especially in the puppy world, when I'm selling expensive ass puppies, I'll go, "Oh, do you got dogs at home? How old, girl or
Yeah.
boy? How long have you had them? How did you come about getting them? La da da da." The minute you start getting them to talk about their own life and their personal interest, I guess you could say, is when they kind of shade away
helps
from
you-
this person.
it helps
he's
you
trying to sell me
click.
something.
It helps you click with them.
Yeah, you build a rapport.
Exactly.
Yeah. And like, for example, when people used to come into Best Buy, I wouldn't just come to be like, "Oh, what are you looking for?" I would, "Hey, how you doing? What'd you do today?"
Correct.
Like, build a normal conversation,
Mhm.
and even in that conversation, yeah, you ask like, "Are you looking for something specific?" Okay, but then,
You're
alright, but
better than
then-
me. Towards the end of it, I was like, "What you looking for?"
Yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure. When you didn't care anymore when you're
I
selling,
mean,
That's
have
when
to-
you sell the
have to
most.
Get like that is one day. Like at some point in time, you have to figure out what they want. It's just how you go about doing it, because some people would rather be communicated with before they're telling you what they need, rather than just what do you need, what do you need, what do you need.
and like I was saying, like some people prefer like dryness. They don't want that like
It's rare. but
ass
yeah.
kissing.
Yeah.
They don't want the ass kissing.
Yeah, it's like when I was working with my cousin, like, I would always be like, "Oh, how are you? How's your day going?" And there would be people that would sit there and have a full conversation with me before they told me what they wanted. Other people wouldn't even respond, and they would just be like, "I want a Cuban." And I'm
I
like,
hate that.
"Hi."
Yeah. So behavioral economists did a couple of studies. Actually, Daniel Kahneman, he writes this in his book. Like they did a study where, when it comes to sales, right, whatever product you have, and you think, let's say you made this cup and you think it's worth $5, right, and you're selling it for $5, right? The person that's buying the cup from you thinks that the cup is not worth $5. They think that the cup is worth only $3
Yeah,
in
whatever.
their head, right?
Yeah.
So the thing is, anytime you're selling something, salesmen usually try to sell it. They truly know the value of the
Vision.
product,
Mhm.
and they try to sell it for the actual value. But people that are buying the product, they have zero knowledge of the product.
Yeah.
They just have their own little assumptions of what the product should be, and they
assuming,
will. They're not willing.
most of the time, automatic assumption that someone is scamming them.
Correct.
That's something that we deal a lot with the puppy sales. Just like everybody said here, they would never buy a puppy for $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 just because you know you can get it for $1,500 somewhere else.
If you
don't
really
know the
wanted that
value.
purebred, you can still get
Exactly.
it somewhere else. Yeah.
Well, no, I understand that. Like in any sales job, it's if you look at it from like a basic point of view, it's a scam, right? But your business, you need to make money.
Yeah.
So
And everybody,
have to tag on
everybody
a
wants to buy
profit.
puppies. The majority of people want to buy puppies
Yeah.
or electronics or whatever the fuck you're selling as a salesman.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cars.
you got to tag on a profit, right? Like so, but the thing is for you to tag on a profit, because everyone knows that you're gonna tag on some sort of a profit, but for you is to convince them that the profit that you're tagging on is fair. That's
Yeah.
where the problem starts, right? Because it was up to you. If I gave you the car, of course you would want the car for free, and then you would want me to pay you money, right? If the like, but the reverse.
I wonder.
is
I wonder
usually-
how much the for example, like a car, like because I always love talking. Like we always like comparing. Like you're comparing. The dogs you sell are Ferraris,
Yeah,
and you're selling them to average people,
sure.
right? What does a Ferrari cost Ferrari to make? Like
That depends, right? Because what does it cost them to make? So I've looked into it a little bit more. So the way this works in the car dealerships, they don't buy directly from VW.
That's
So let's
correct.
say, right? What they do, they'll go to the auction specifically for
Perfect.
car dealerships, and they'll buy lots of cars, meaning like 20, 30, 40. And depending on the size of the lot, they'll pay X amount of money per each individual car, right? So the more cars dealership buys, the lower is their price point, the more they can make. That's the bottom line. As far as making cars, I think the best way to do that is to look at Tesla, right? Because Tesla doesn't have dealerships, so you actually will tell you what the cost of the Tesla is to produce, right? Like including the man hours and things like that. So you'll probably have more data on that, and then just going off of that, you can kind of make your assumptions
What do you
about
mean
other
by
companies.
Tesla doesn't have dealerships? Don't they have that, like, for example, that huge building that they have over there now?
So that's going to be just a repair facility. That's not a
It's
dealership.
not a dealership.
No.
Their dealerships are inside malls.
Yeah, that's what it.
I want to hear y'all's guess.
What? How much?
How
is
much does a Ferrari cost?
Which one?
Like on average. right?
An
So,
average?
so for example, I'll give you the market price of
Sure.
said average Ferrari, right?
Okay.
200,000.
How much does it cost to make?
I'm
I
gonna
wanna
say it cost them 90 grand.
I was gonna be 70.
I would probably go for like 40 grand.
You guys are way off.
What is it?
6 grand.
Six?
To make a Ferrari? Impossible, bro. The material is gonna cost you a lot more.
Bro, I mean, if they have all this stuff proprietary made already, like to do in mass numbers, it can be that cheap, bro.
I would've
For example,
thought that cheap.
this is what it says. While these sports cars can cost upwards of 200,000 to market, it has been revealed that the manufacturer makes only about. Oh no, that's fucking wrong shit.
False
That's what I'm
information.
saying, bro. Like just the metal itself is gonna cost a lot more than that, because it's all carbon fiber and like pressing all that, and the aluminum is gonna cost money. But in any case, so basically what happens, a lot of the price of the car that you pay is basically for the company, for the, you know how you have warranty for 4 years, 5 years, that's actually counted into the price of the car in case
Correct.
something goes wrong with the car.
Correct.
So the car is actually probably like a 50%, like it's 50% of the actual price. If the car is $20,000, most likely cost them about a 10 to make, maybe a little bit less, right?
Yeah,
So
I'm sure they got like a 200% markup, I would say, or something like that. From
yes,
what they get it at.
yeah. So but Ferraris is a little bit different. It's called what's called a Giffen good. Do you know what's a Giffen good?
No.
Giffen good is a goods that it doesn't matter what the situation is in a country economically, they're still gonna keep that price because they're a sought after good. There's not a lot of them, and they don't have a supply. They always have a supply issue, and the demand is always high. That's what a Giffen good is. That's why they're able to keep such high prices at all times. Ferrari, Lamborghini, all of these higher end cars, because they produce a very small amount of them. And the reason they produce a small amount, so they are able to sell it at higher prices. So it's a different kind of marketplace, right? So if you want to talk about like goods and the way you sell, like if you take a Louis Vuitton store, for example, majority of the money Louis Vuitton makes is by selling their wallets, because that wallets and belts, because highest markup is on wallets and belts, because it costs a little bit of money to make, but the markup is so high, an average person can afford a belt and a wallet versus affording a $4,000 or $5,000, $6,000 purse. They'll buy a wallet before they'll buy a purse, right? At $400. So it depends. Like, that's how majority of companies sell things, right? And same thing happened with Apple when Apple first made. Remember when Apple first made the Apple Watch? They had the regular Apple Watch, and then they had the golden one for $10,000. Remember that?
Yeah.
So the $10,000 gold watch, there were not a lot of them, but people did buy them. Right now it's not even a paperweight. You just have the golden watch, and that's about it. That's how usually they'll usually do it. It's like, the highest markup, you're probably gonna have your Golf is gonna have probably the highest markup. The least markup is gonna be probably on the highest end cars, right? Because not everybody can afford that, right? So that's how they usually marketing works for.
Is
for
it only
advertising.
Volkswagen?
No, we got everything on
No,
the
I mean, of course you have everything. A Chevy dealership has a Nissan, but I mean, like, it's only Volkswagen, as in like that's their.
So,
Because some, like, for example, the one on 34th Street is a Volkswagen and Subaru.
okay, so I see what you're saying. So no, the I guess the dealership that I'm working for, the low key dealership, they have 3 next to each other. They have a Nissan, the Volkswagen, and then I want to say Kia. I don't know 100%. It might
I think
be
you might be
Subaru,
right.
But I think it's a Kia. And
Who gives a shit about a Kia? But
basically, I got all 3 lots to work off of. So
All right, nice. And you also gonna have like a used car sales as well.
yeah,
The whole
used,
thing,
new, it
everything.
doesn't matter. Whatever's on the
All
lot.
Hey,
of it.
can you upload that Scarlett Johansson video? Hey guys, while we're at it on this little tiny break, if you're on a stream, let me just look at it real quick. There, it looks like there are 14 of us on here right now, and
I tried looking. There's no good videos of that.
and there's only 8 likes, guys. So I know you guys are watching. I know you're enjoying this. Go ahead, hit that like button for us, please, and we'll just continue.
You heard? There's no good videos of that.
What do you mean?
All of them are edited with like weird music and stuff.
That's fine. We just need the view.
Well, there's nothing. There's nothing pulled up, so we have to find it.
Okay, can you look with that for that video?
What are we looking for?
A guy grabs
Awesome.
Scarlett Johansson's boob. Just do that.
Never.
So that video, I think that's a pretty good topic to talk about.
Why is that play every time? Close that goddamn tab out.
Yeah. So, but yeah, like I think you did the right choice with the sales. You know, if anything, you're gonna get shit ton of experience off of that.
Yeah,
know.
I mean, I'm learning a lot as it is off sales. So, I mean, I'm probably gonna stick with it for the time being. I mean, the car dealership, I really only did that.
Yeah, that's
because
the one.
It popped up out of like nowhere. The opportunity came to me. He came in my store, bought a $13,000 dog off me, and then was telling me that he liked my sales pitch, la da da da, that he was looking for a team, and he just got done firing half of his staff and la da da da. So yeah, they were just
Damn.
they were. I guess they weren't doing what they needed to be doing. So
All right, we'll see how it works. You know.
yeah.
All right, so can you play that clip for us real quick?
Ooh, wait, can I just want to feel it? Ooh, oh, that's just totally working. Wow,
right,
I
good.
love that. Wow, I touched Scarlett's boobs. I touched Scarlett's boobs.
Oh gosh.
There we go. Here we go. It's a little slow.
Look at
that. I mean, you can't.
All right,
I mean,
Why?
we're good.
Nice
Go ahead, pause
reaction,
it.
just yeah.
Pause it. All right, so what do y'all guys think about that?
I mean,
He's
my
tripping.
personal opinion, yeah,
He's
he's
tripping.
She did good at like keeping her composure. I mean,
Yeah,
I
I
don't know
would've
how she
slapped
felt
him
like
or
So
deep down about
he,
it, but
I want to let you know he is a homosexual.
Yeah, I figured.
doesn't matter.
But
Why
Wait a
not?
minute.
Right?
Why did you figure?
But
you
that's
can just tell
that,
me. He's like,
you're right. It
I
doesn't matter.
touched her boobs. I touched her boobs. Like,
You're right. It doesn't matter. But I'm sure that's why she didn't have like a.
and the fact that he
different
would go
reaction.
for it, because I feel like if it was a straight guy, he wouldn't do that on television.
So here's the question
Like,
I have.
feel like he felt like it was okay because he's not into girls.
Wait, is he homosexual? Like confirmed? Like this is
Yes.
Yeah, he has a
yes, it's
husband.
confirmed. We
But
actually
still,
looked it up.
I
Yeah,
don't-
yeah,
I don't
yeah. We
care
looked
about
it up.
him,
He's
so.
homosexual. Here's the thing that I have. What would happen if a straight guy did that?
She
Oh,
would
it'd be
have
the end of
flipped
the
shit.
world.
So what's the difference?
That's exactly what I
I-
said. He shouldn't have did it in the first place.
So this is what I was thinking in my brain, is he's gay, apparently supposedly with his husband and everything, and why is he interested in touching titties?
I don't think it's
So it's not like, for
touching them in
example.
general. It's touching hers because he's like, I touched Scarlett's boobs. Like he's like excited.
Well, he said that he
touched
said that he
her
just
boobs.
couldn't hold
See-
it, like he just couldn't hold it back because of how like they were just out there, right?
See, my thing is no matter who you are, because I mean I don't know them. I don't know what their relationship is on a personal level in between them two, but regardless, who the hell wants a reporter or whatever touching their titties in the middle of like a little interview? Like I don't know.
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
could
we
tell
could
she's
never,
kinda like-
you could never know. Maybe they're like best friends
So-
or something.
That's
No,
what
no.
I'm saying. Like I don't know their personal.
I get that.
relationship, but
I get that. But what I'm trying to say is, there's no sexual harassment case going. There's
Probably
no
not.
grape case going. You know, so like the whole thing is the way she even reacted. If this was a straight guy,
She was kind of like, oh, and, like shocked, but like not upset.
correct. What would have happened if that was a straight guy?
a lot of it would have been a completely
First of all, I don't
different
think he
scenario.
would have done it
Exactly.
because he would have realized that wasn't wrong. But
So
I feel like the other guy, as in like thinking like, oh, I'm not into women anyway. She can't get upset. I'm just.
I
don't
feel
know.
like even though he was a homosexual, that doesn't have it.
Should
I
I-
feel like
should
he.
I-
Yeah, no, it
I
shouldn't
feel
have
like he
happened,
has to
but-
know her on a.
so would you
personal level.
classify this as sexual harassment?
I would assume
Yeah,
so.
I mean,
all about that's.
did it
That,
without
I mean,
warning.
that's not us to judge. That's for her to how she felt the interaction went.
but
Because
I
it's
mean,
just.
So
it's
do you
just
think
like,
the
so now you're gonna
interaction
go
would
based
go?
off the feelings?
I think the real
Well,
question
it's
is,
her
you're
that-
sexually harassed and you don't feel like you're sexually harassed. You're not sexually harassed. Like
Until you
yeah,
decide
because
you are.
if I go have sex with somebody and they willingly had sex with me, I didn't rape them. No, I had sex with them because they willingly did so.
The real
That's the
question
same
is-
thing.
I
It's like
guess,
it's like
but I
if you
mean,
go and you smack your girl's
she has
ass.
to-
she
she
didn't
has
ask
to-
for it in that moment, but she wasn't mad about it.
Because now I'm gonna make an assumption because we don't have another case, the opposite case, right? I'm gonna make an assumption she would have felt some way if this was a straight guy, and that's most likely.
No, I really believe. I actually want to know this. I feel like they have to have some kind of relationship, like well
Another
enough,
thing,
well
too-
enough to where that
Listen,
could have been
I
done
can
in any
have
tense.
I can have a relationship with a girl that I know all I want. If I go in and grab her boob and we're not actively sleeping
But you're
together,
not gay.
this is what I'm going
Okay,
to.
it's both. I think it's both things. It's both things. He's a homosexual. He's that, right? And he also, I'm assuming, I would think he
Mm-hmm.
has a pretty good relationship with her.
Has to be because I mean, there was I didn't.
It's
I
both.
didn't see
So
no
that
warning.
so is the
But even if they
yeah,
don't
he
have a
just went.
They say,
relationship,
"Ooh."
so does, just like he said, so does that whole, there's the sexual assault thing,
I would
right?
even- I would even
Is it
think-
based on a feeling or a fact that happened?
I would even think,
I think
that
it's a
like
feeling. It's how you felt in that moment. Cause like I think if I was in that situation, and I think it's different too that it's on television. Like it's not like they were like behind the scenes in some random little back of the stage, and he like came and was like, like you know what I
Listen,
mean? Like that's
personally,
another thing that
it could have
affects
been
it.
another girl, and I still would be surprised. It could have been another
Yeah.
girl. A girl doing the little interview or whatever, touching a girl's boob at.
Like
moment's
it's
notice.
another thing too if he would have asked.
So my
But
my
that's what I'm
thing.
saying. There's no
like-
warning, no nothing. He just.
So
said,
my
"Ooh."
thing is, if these double standards exist, how come these double standards are okay, but when there's a double standard on the other side, that's not okay?
The thing about double standards, I feel like, is everybody's gonna pick and choose when it. I wouldn't say necessarily benefits them, but everybody's gonna pick and choose when to feel about a certain double standard at a particular time.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's a feeling, and because of
Sure.
somebody's feeling, somebody's life can be ruined, even though that meant absolutely nothing, right? Because like you can see a lot of people, like like there are people, let's say from the south, right? People from the south.
Scarlett, I'm just
Yeah.
so you know, Scarlett basically shrugged it off as like she didn't even pay attention to it as it really being a thing.
Yeah.
Like she just like
What
she
would
said-
happen if you
she said
grabbed her
that-
boob or I grabbed her
No,
boob?
but she was saying that she didn't think of it as being such a like thing as like a big like that it was gonna be such a big thing like
Everybody's
people
gonna
made
have
it out to
different
be.
boundaries.
Well, yeah, obviously, because if I would have done that, it would have been a big thing. Not only on the people's side, it would have been a big thing on her side, right?
I think you have to learn your situation though. So like, I mean, I guess he chose the right person to do it to. I don't know, but I mean, if it was someone different, it could have been something else as well. So maybe it was just a particular person he got, his little luck. That didn't go to anything more serious.
Yeah, my thing is this: like, if you're gonna go off a feeling and then ruin someone's life because if you take somebody that's from the south, right? Like
This is I don't believe this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't 100% believe this. Not that I believe it or don't, right? We're just saying according to livejournal.com blah blah blah. To some of her friends, accordingly, she said, if he hadn't been gay, I would have slapped him.
That's what I said.
So to me, what I'm trying to say is this.
But this is she said to friends on an article.
Yeah, so it's not. Yeah. So what I'm trying to say, some people from the south, like from Georgia, Alabama, and those areas, the way people speak, like they speak shug, hun, you know what I mean? If a guy says that to a girl in a lot of the metropolitan areas, that can be considered as sexual harassment, even though this is how they speak over there, right, in that area. So my point is this: because somebody feels one way or another way, and then the lives get ruined. Like there's so many cases. Like this kid actually got kicked out of the school because a girl accused him of rape, right? But then they later found footage at the bar. Girl came onto him, kissed him, dragged him. They have a camera in front of his dorm. He's trying to send her home. She's dragging him inside. And then he's like, I end up sleeping with her and told her nothing's going to happen between two of us. So she threatened that, and she accused him of rape. They found this, but the school still kicked him out. And it was an Ivy League school. They kicked him out of the school because of that.
Ivy League school said just in case.
Yeah, because they said we don't need the negative. We don't need the negative publicity, right? Because a lot of times these things happen. Now I'm not condoning violence, right? I'm not condoning that. And every person that truly commits these crimes need to get the full that they deserve, and then some, right? Like bring back stoning for all I care. You know what I mean? But the thing is, how many times a girl can, like, let's say, entrap a guy by saying this is what happened unless you do X, Y, and Z for me? It's the same thing like we're dealing with, we talked about it in a last podcast with Andre Tate and his brother. These girls wanted to make money. That didn't work out, so they accused them of rape.
Yeah.
See what I mean? So this is what I'm talking about. Like, I think these double standards exist, and then when you go out there and say, there are a lot of double standards that men have versus girls have, and I think it's just a little bit messed up the way we view things in the world, but it is what it is, right?
So,
I guess.
to touch up on the whole
We all have that agreement of it's all fucked up. but it is.
It is what it
Yeah,
is.
to touch up on the video, I mean, the whole double standard thing. But I mean, there are rules in place for the sexual harassment, right? Sexual harassment is sexual harassment, and I think of like a crime, right? You know, you're not supposed to do a crime, but if you do it and you get caught, that's you.
Hey, if
Same as the
if
sexual
they didn't catch
harassment,
me, I
you feel
never
me?
did
Like
it.
if you cross that line, luckily that guy, you know, Scarlett was like, you know what, he's gay, ignored it, whatever the case may be. So he's lucky he was in the right predicament, in the right scenario to not get the punishment, I guess you can say, that comes with the sexual harassment. So I mean, I guess, you know, you just gotta don't do it.
Yeah.
That's all I gotta say.
No,
I
and
think that's probably the reason right there what Alex said, which was that one case compared to the dozens of actual rape cases happening on campuses. That's probably the big reason why they just automatically kick the kid, because if it probably does happen so much, they're not gonna risk that. Oh, this one time that he really didn't do it, but got all the accusement and still went through the whole process. Everything happened.
They
They were really just like
But
just
they
in
found
case.
the videos, though,
By
right?
a second, they did, but it's.
See, but I honestly feel like in that case scenario, unless he has like different allegations towards,
I don't
him,
think
that's
it's.
different.
I don't think it's right that they decided to still say boot his ass out, even though he was proven innocent.
So
right?
no, my quarrel is not with that. My quarrel is not whether he's right and they shouldn't have booted him. My quarrel is not with that when somebody does get raped and they, you know, the other party that does the.
accusation is yours.
My thing is the false accusation, because
Yeah.
right now, because with the Me Too movement, right, like a girl can go in and say he raped me and your life is over, especially if
Isn't
you don't
that
have.
some kind of crime though, like girls doing false accusations and stuff. That's not a. That
You
should
could
be a
get them
crime.
for
That is-
defamation, right?
No, you can't.
What do you mean? If they make you go through all
You
that,
can't. There's no.
but he didn't.
Well, who's gonna go
Johnny get it?
Yeah,
Didn't
Johnny
Johnny
Depp.
get
Yeah,
it?
but Johnny has Johnny money. Not everybody has Johnny
Yeah,
money.
but hey, we're all saying you can.
You can, yeah, but
will you?
yeah, that's what
different.
I'm trying to go to. I'm trying to go to an average person. Average person is on the college campuses, right? That this happens to. So when this happens to an average person and there's a false accusation, we don't have anything in place to punish the false accusers. And the reason it's not in place is because I understand why it's not in place, because a lot of times girls don't come out and say it. What person or are you pulling off of Fox News? No, he was in a Ivy League school. He was an Indian student. I think he was a either medical student
See
or
if I
law
find it.
student. Yeah, he was Indian student in Indian descent. He was not a full Indian, you know, with an accent and everything. He was an Indian descent. So my thing is, like, I understand why they have this in place, right? Like, I get why the law is not in place, because a lot of times girls can feel like, oh, I don't know if he has a good lawyer, and then the lawyer wins the case. Now I can be standing to trial for accusing him, even though that happened to me. I get that. I do understand that, but there's also the flip side of the coin where a girl like this happened to, what's his name? I think it was to Future,
And you
right?
also-
When
and
she
you
tried
also-
to.
You can't. Sorry to interrupt you, but you can't automatically have to have a punishment for false accusers, because what if someone accuses somebody of something legit and then they get away with it? Then it's in the eyes of the system. Oh, you're falsely accusing, and you should be. You know, that would be another thing too that would get in the way of that.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So but the whole thing is of the Me Too movement. Believe all women without any proof or anything like that, I think is completely wrong. Like, there should be some sort of a proof before you do that, right? Like, I don't think this is because I don't think on average guys are running around and raping women. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think on average people are doing that.
I
Now,
mean, there's always a few people out there that are, but for the most
yeah,
part,
obviously, yeah.
there's not.
Now, rapists get away with it all the time, yeah, but so do false accusers, right? Like, they all get away with it, right? So obviously the system is broken. There's got to be a better system with that, right? So my thing is, you know, so the rapist, that's going to happen. Are there sick people out there that do these things? Yes, that's going to happen. And then also there's another thing. So girl may, let's say, so anytime I hang out with a girl, if she's drunk, I won't sleep with her.
Good.
I will not sleep with her if she's drunk, because
Not worth it.
because I'm not gonna put myself in a predicament where next day she's gonna say, "Well, I didn't want to do it. I was under influence," right? But then again, she could sleep with you, and then the next day you say something and she doesn't like it, and then she just reports you, right? Or next day she wants a relationship, and you're like, "No, it's just a casual thing." She reports you, just to ruin your life.
Hey,
some contracts
so
ahead of time.
Yeah, NDAs.
don't know.
For sure.
I don't know if this is
Sign this.
the same thing, but I'm seeing here a person that with false accusation, blah blah blah, right? Nikki Jovino of South, blah blah blah, pleaded guilty to making up the allegations and was sentenced to 3 years in prison. So for making up the allegations, she was sentenced.
Yeah, because there was another thing that happened was this girl, she was in a sorority. She ended up pretty much sleeping with a bunch of dudes at a party. And then her father found out, and father was super connected.
She will serve 1 year though. The other 2 were suspended at part of the plea agreement.
Yeah, so her father was super connected and pretty much called and pulled the grape charges on all of those. I think it was the football team thing where this girl's father basically pushed for the grape thing because she did it on her own volition, but then the dad didn't like the idea and then pushed it for because lying in court is a crime. I get that it's a crime. I get it. But then at the same time you have girls that are running around and trying to poke condoms to get pregnant, or trying to, what was it, Futures, some girl he slept with, hot sauce. Yeah, like, you know what I mean, like,
Yo, but that's crazy.
I can't believe she tried suing his ass for the hot sauce.
That I think that's insane, right? That she tried suing him for that, and I think it's insane that he has to do that.
That extent. I mean, I see
But
why he did it, but that's insane to me.
Do you imagine you're done? She walks out, this is the whatever, and you just pop it off
That's
like,
what her dumbass
"Try me,
gets.
bitch!
That's what her
Fucking
dumbass
try
gets.
me, bitch!
And then you hear her screaming.
You gonna have that habanero pussy."
Like this with the fan, like this, because that shit was burning.
no, I think
You know, she came out of that bathroom.
she's got a really good she's got a really good point there. That is true if we were back in 1960s and 1920s and 1930s. But however, the society has changed, right? With the hookup culture being the way it is, the online dating and things like that, these things have changed. So you can't bring back something. There's no such thing as a pendulum swinging back, right? Pendulum always swings forward. It doesn't ever swing back. So you're not going to have that. Drake in one person out of how many? It doesn't matter. If it happens to Drake, it happens to average people.
You know what I think is
No, I don't think it happens to average
It
people.
does.
It happens to Drake because it's Drake. And she wants Drake as her baby daddy.
yeah.
That's
I
true.
don't think it happens to average people.
That's true.
You don't
That's
put
true.
hot
I mean,
sauce in
I believe average people get entrapped, and maybe not the same.
Well, yeah, but
scenario
not the
like
same
Drake.
way.
True.
Yeah.
You don't have to do it. No, I understand that. But the hookup culture is here, and hookup culture is here to stay. It's not going to go away anywhere, anytime. So it's just going to be here, right? Like, I
I
don't
think
know.
some people
Celibate,
need
bro.
to.
You ever tried it?
Huh?
Said
Yeah,
you could
okay.
be celibate. You ever tried it?
I think that comes from not. I mean, this is a
Drake is
very-
not average. How did you get Drake is average?
You said that happens to average people. That's why I said.
It happens to average people. If it happened to Drake, it could also happen to average people.
Huh? Nah, that's not a good. That's not a good way to put that.
I see what he's trying to say, but
The reason
I
we
get
know
what you guys
about
are
this
saying as well.
case, the reason we know about this case because it's Drake. It's somebody famous, and he came out. It was a thing for the people to talk about.
But
An
I'm
average
saying,
person,
do you
you're
really
not gonna
think
get
an
that.
average
Oh,
person
I believe
that's
there
gonna
are girls.
happen.
Yeah, I
Like,
believe there are
Yes.
girls out there who take
This
the whole
Indian
condom
kid.
and
I'm
inseminate
just
themselves.
naming you. This
Yes,
Indian
I do
kid who
believe
was
that.
an average person,
Does it
a
happen
student.
all the time? I don't know.
but it's
No,
probably
obviously not.
like the person that they know with the most money and like in their area,
So,
the Drake of their
Now that
town.
we're-
Like, you
now
know
that
what I
we're
mean?
on this topic, I'm gonna tell you guys a little story that I heard when I was in 8th grade. Right. So for those of you who went to Tyrone, I don't know who's ever had him, but I'm not even gonna mention a name. Let's just say my math teacher. So there was a really cool math teacher. He was born and raised in NY, and him and his friend were his friend and his friend's friend were out at a party. And so something happened, whatever. They both had girls. They went to the car to do their thing.
Hold on.
Shit,
And-
Arthur. Shit.
Was
we got
this
shit.
particular teacher in A wing?
No, he was in D wing, I think. No, I. Sorry.
All the way back there. Never mind.
No,
All right, continue with the story,
Oh,
please.
I know. I don't
He
think
was
I
in
had
E. Sorry, he was in the last one of the front of the school, whatever.
Yeah,
Anyways,
E-wing.
so they went to the car to do their thing. It was his friend and his homies. So his friend went in first. They had one condom.
Oh.
His friend went in first.
Nah.
Had sex with the girl in the back seat or whatever. Everything's cool. since his friend didn't have a condom, I guess his friend was like, yo, let me borrow the condom, whatever the case may be. I don't know. That's some weird stuff. But his friend decided it'd be a smart idea because since his friend used it the first time, nutted in one side, he said, I'm going to be a smart person and flipped it inside out and put it on and used it on the girl that he was having sex with. So this dude got the other girl pregnant that he didn't even have sex for and got stuck paying child support for the rest of the kid's life after they figured out what the hell had going on. Bro, when I found out that story, I was in disbelief. I couldn't imagine. Number one, how do you end up in that predicament, man? You better go to the gas station and buy yourself some condoms. But just how like the person it didn't click.
Oh yeah, let me just
flip
flip it inside out.
Let me flip it inside out and use it.
I don't think you guys understand what testosterone is. Testosterone is probably one of the strongest hormones in a world. Somebody that's young in their 20s, they produce so much testosterone. Testosterone literally drives what they do. Like the whole anyway, just I don't want to get into it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And again,
but
just
can you imagine you fuck some girl and then the next week they're like, "Oh, you have the other girl pregnant." But I never even fucked her. No. It's yours. What?
No, I mean that the friend that did it the first time was an idiot for letting the friend borrow the other.
Yeah, for example, for him to be like, "Here's the condom that you fucked up."
Yeah, he fucked up. Big time fucked up.
Go get your own condom.
Yeah.
What the hell? That's crazy to me. I just can't believe like two people like
did that.
Yes, in general, sharing a condom blows my mind. But for the idiot to flip it inside out and not even like.
Well, how many times it happens where a girl will say, "Oh, I'm birth control." It's okay. Don't worry about it.
You can't trust that, man. Come on now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You know,
protect yourself.
There's ways to entrap you, like, you know, and we don't do anything about that.
I mean, don't get me wrong though. I know you're usually on the side that girls always entrap guys, but there are some guys out there who be entrapping girls. You feel me? There are some guys who, I pulled out.
Well, of course.
There be guys that be doing that.
Yeah, that's an idiot if he does it.
That reminds me of.
Is that Kanye?
Huh?
Is that Kanye?
Kanye? What do you mean?
Oh, I don't know.
Kanye entrapped Kim. He got like what?
That's what I was. Not that I was thinking of that, but I was thinking of ASAP Rocky and Rihanna.
Yeah.
He pumped a kid in her so fast, and then like she already has another one coming out.
Knew what's up.
He got two now.
No, Rihanna had to settle with ASAP Rocky.
I don't know about all that.
Did you see that
I don't
magazine
think so.
cover?
I don't think Rihanna had
Magazine
to settle.
cover where she's basically.
She did.
Rihanna settled for ASAP.
Yes. Rihanna settled for ASAP.
Because when you look at like levels,
Yeah, Rihanna is on a higher
I think
level.
Rihanna's at a higher level than ASAP Rocky.
She settled for ASAP.
When it comes to the past 5 years, you have 2 ASAP albums.
That's right.
You have 2 ASAP Rocky albums. And he's all on fashion. He's in Paris doing his fashion shit.
Yeah.
I just don't know what
I love ASAP Rocky.
I don't know what people find attractive about Rihanna.
She's not attractive.
I say the same thing.
Dude, she's got a globe of a forehead.
She has a 5 head?
I'm not here to slander nothing.
She doesn't have a 4 head, she has a 5 head?
She's super attractive. She's just, I think a lot of people boost it up more than I would personally.
Kind of like what they did with the Lizzo's newest.
Me personally, I would take
that's
Selena
extreme.
Gomez over Rihanna. That's me personally.
You would take who?
So like Selena Gomez over Rihanna. That's me personally. A lot of people probably might not agree with me, but that's just me.
No, I think she definitely settled with ASAP Rocky. She's getting older. She's probably not getting the amount of attention like she used to from.
She's Rihanna. She's still getting that attention.
Yeah, but I'm sure there's a level of attention that she's getting from people that are like much higher than ASAP Rocky's level, where it probably has dropped off. You know what I mean?
Hear about how her Super Bowl performance? She lasted I don't know how many minutes longer than what she was supposed to.
And she didn't get paid. Yeah.
And she didn't get paid at all.
Yeah.
I mean, not that she was supposed to get like paid like actually for the performance, but I guess they pay like operation cost, you could say.
So, for example, I actually did some research into this.
I don't know that's true because what's his name? Bad Bunny, highest paid musician out there. Like they are making money. If you're trending, you're making money.
No, but what I'm saying is like from what I know of, correct me if I'm wrong, but the Super Bowl doesn't actually pay the performers for the halftime show. They pay the operations to set up everything, the lights.
I looked into that actually because they were talking to me. Arthur and Lynette were telling me how they thought like that they didn't get paid at all, right? That they actually had to put money up to pay certain things and
To
this
pay
and
the
that.
dancers and
Yeah,
all that.
and I looked into it, and that's not true. You're right. They pay for all the shit.
Well, didn't
operation.
no one wanted to perform at that Super Bowl?
And I don't know about that, but what I do know is they still have to pay them some kind of union fee. They the Super Bowl themselves has to be pay them in some kind of way. It's not under a performance fee. It's under just a union fee. That's something that they have forced to pay them. But I'm assuming it's shit though.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I just seen something that was like she wasn't getting paid because la di da da.
And what was that thing you said about Kanye and Kim?
That he
He got
trapped
like
her.
3 kids.
Kanye
Yeah.
trapped Kim. Kim trapped Kanye.
Yeah, Kim
Look,
trapped Kanye.
Kim trapped Kanye.
I don't know who trapped who, but I know she making hella money on that child support.
And
Kim
she
trapped
got-
Kanye.
So if everything goes down with Adidas, if Kanye ends up like pulling out and having to like get bought out,
I
and
thought he already did.
no, so they've now come to a new agreement. So he was thrown out of Adidas, and it's thrown out, whatever. And then they started pushing shoes that were to be released, that like they had already set up to be released, and they took off all the Kanye branding, so it was just known as the Adidas 350 Boost, right? And I think I might be wrong. The thing I saw was that Kanye went after them for selling these shoes still. And basically they're just gonna push the rest of the inventory that they have
And then be done with them.
and be done with him.
Cool. Interesting.
And she has stake in that.
She has
Kim-
taken it. Yeah, Kim has
Kim.
taken it.
Uh,
I think he signed the ownership.
Yeah. So basically, I heard the story. What happened? Kim told it on I don't know what. She got reached out to a brand to do some promotion, but this brand was very known for ripping off Yeezy. And so when she asked Kanye, "Do you think it's okay if I do it?" Kanye said, "I prefer you don't." And then when I think Mother's Day came around, he gave her $1 million, which was the price for the advertising thing they were gonna do, and he gave her stake in Yeezy. All the paperwork for that.
Yeah, but see, this is the thing again. This goes back to, you know, when you sign on a dotted line, whether it's 5 to 14 cents per song that you're getting in your royalties or whatever it is, you know, you're signing on a dotted line. I mean, if you don't like that contract, go create your own record label, go create all of that
You
stuff on
saw-
your own and do it on your own.
You saw how well that hasn't proven to be the best way, because like you have
Correct, because it doesn't work.
yeah. But then you saw Snoop bought out Death Row again.
I didn't see that.
Well, not again, but he bought out Death Row, and he took down a bunch of music. Like a bunch of music is not on the internet right now.
He just brought up the Chronic, I think, the album again on Spotify.
So basically, I heard in an interview, and like he was like, "I don't give a fuck people complaining that the music's not
Yeah.
out." Guess what? The people who made this music didn't get fucking paid. So guess what? You guys can't have it. And once I can put together a system to where the people can get paid, you guys will have it.
If I remember correctly, he said...
That was the gist, kind of.
Yeah.
That's what my point
he
is
said
this.
that, hey, if you guys want to use this music, you guys got to pay me big bucks to be able to use this music.
My point is this. If you're going to be a performer, a singer, a performer, you need to understand what you're going into. And if you're going to this profession as a performer, and if these are the rules of this profession, you need to follow those rules of the profession. If you don't like the rules, then you do what Snoop Dogg did. Right? Like, I just don't understand. Like, everybody's out here sitting and saying, well, they don't get paid enough. They do. This is something is known.
I don't think that's true.
That's going to be hard to do. Doing
I think what he's
Snoop
saying is that they
did,
don't get
that's
paid.
This is
That
my
is
point.
tough.
So if it's gonna be hard to do, obviously it took a lot of money and energy to put something in place. So when somebody puts a lot of money and energy into putting something in place, they want to get paid for it. So if you want to work with
the
me,
thing about
this
Snoop
is
is
my.
he tracked down Death Row and the people who had the music. Basically, the people who had Death Row, they sold Death Row to somebody else and the music to somebody else. And then from there, he tracked those people and like, hey, I'll just buy the whole entire catalog and I'll buy Death Row from you.
No, I understand. But what I'm trying to say, when somebody has a record label and they have rules for this specific record label, and a performer comes in and says, I want to work with you, record label. Let's say record label
30?
A,
Good till 30.
or I want to work with record label B, right? Record label A has his rules, record label B has his rules. It's up to the performer to decide what they're going to do. whether they're going to work with A or they're going to work with B. Number one. Number two, before it even gets to that point, you need to understand what industry you're going to and what are your possibilities of getting paid. For example, you go to an engineering school, you're going to get out of it. You probably have a pretty good chance of getting paid about $70,000 a year. Right? If you go to med school, you get out of the med school at the very basic, you have a good chance of getting paid $150,000 a year. You can't go in there and tell the hospital, listen, I'm just out of med school, but you need to pay me $1 million because I said so, because we don't get paid as much as we used to. No, it's you signing on a dotted line. This is the job you signed for, so you do your job.
So you're telling me I can't just walk in there and say I'm worth it?
Correct. Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. So this whole thing, feel bad because they're not making as much. They have to do this, chase out their bags. Hey, listen, you picked the career. Nobody told you to pick that career. Nobody said this is going to be easy.
A lot of artists nowadays are coming out and telling people, hey, you should probably negotiate that contract very well because you're going to get screwed over.
Correct. And you're going to get screwed over. Correct. Because that's what it is. Because when somebody builds something, such as a big record label that can push out Grammy-winning, award-winning artists, it doesn't just happen overnight. It happens over the years and a lot of money, a lot of investment. You want to get paid. It's the same thing as me opening let's say, a factory producing cameras, and then somebody coming in and saying, okay, now you have to pay me more than you're getting paid. You're just assembling cameras. I just created this whole company. What do you mean I have to pay you more? But no, I'm the one that works. I'm the working force. I'm the one that's putting these cameras together for you to make money. You don't have to do it. I'll get somebody else to do it.
Record labels lose a lot of money too. It's not just, there's a lot of costs.
Like, see, this is what I'm saying.
Like a lot of clothing, sets, music videos. There's a lot of crap that record labels have to pay.
That's what I'm trying to say.
You're still not going to be able to make that much money.
This is exactly what I'm trying to say. Or another thing, when a lot of times, like, well, let's say soccer players are getting paid X amount of money, or this is not enough, or this is too much, or whatever it is. A lot of times what people don't realize that when you buy some sort of a team, especially a sports team, it's a tax write-off, because those sports teams don't earn anything. They actually use that sports team to write off their taxes. So, and a lot of times average people have no clue how this business works, but yet they're out there to be the first one with their picket sign by saying they don't get paid enough. You know what I mean? You don't like it, create your own. You know what I'm saying? It's like me going out there creating a factory making $2 billion, and you coming in and telling me now you have to pay me more because you're making $2 billion. Who created this, you or me?
It's hard to be an independent artist, but if you want to make the money that you want to make and you think you're worth it, make yourself worth it.
Teachers choose to teach even though they know they won't get paid. That is correct. I absolutely agree with you. And a lot of times, teachers are usually people that didn't succeed. Not a lot of times. I shouldn't say that. There are some people that thoroughly, truly enjoy teaching. And they go into teaching knowing that they're not going to get paid. And this is what they do. I had a friend of mine. She was a math major, and then she became a math teacher. She liked teaching math. And she knew she's not going to make anything, but she liked teaching math. She liked math, and she liked to teach math, right? I get that. But then there's a lot of times, but I also have friends that they couldn't couldn't string a sentence together, and they went into teaching because they were not good enough to do anything else. So this is the issue. So the teaching.
To teach, you still gotta, for at least in the U.S., you gotta have 4 years. You gotta do a 4 year.
Yeah, but she went for the kids' education. She didn't go into like a profession like math teacher or science teacher.
You still gotta have 4. You still gotta go get your bachelor's degree.
You do. But she did it in an early childhood education, and she was going to teach small kids. That degree is super easy to pass. Like there's nothing to it. You know what I mean? So
I don't know if you want to say nothing to it.
There's nothing to it, bro.
It's
like
4
in comparison,
years of fucking go to school.
Yeah, but in comparison, there's 4 years of doing that versus 4 years of engineering. I think there's a bigger gap. So my thing is, if you're gonna go to school, go to professions such as engineering, doctor, lawyer, things that are going to pay you more. So the problem with teaching, right?
Yes.
Here, this is what I'm gonna go into, Alex. Great question, actually. You know how you can fix the teaching issue? Just like you fix the issue with nurses. Because we're having an issue with nurses, and what the government came, they subsidized. They said, we're gonna pay, because we need nurses, we're gonna pay them more. We're gonna subsidize this, and this is how the nursing took off. And we have a lot of people that are going into nursing because they can get paid a lot. So what you're gonna do if government subsidized teachers' salaries, right? And they started paying teachers more, smarter people would become teachers because now they can get paid.
What do you think is a good salary for a teacher?
good salary for a teacher, I think at a minimum they should be getting average of whatever the state they live in. They should get the average. So let's say if it's Florida, the average of Florida I think is like $50,000. They should get $50,000. They should get an average. They shouldn't be getting below average, because at the end of the day, this person is educating your kid. So by paying them more, you are going to ensure that, because then competition starts. So smarter people are going to graduate with that degree, because you can make the degree harder now and get smarter people in and get smarter people to teach your kids to be smarter.
I think they should be more than just the average.
So you can talk about being more than just the average as well, yeah. But then this is obviously adding to the infrastructure. So yeah, you can talk about paying more than just the average as well. But then a lot of the people that as teachers, a lot of the aspiring teachers that are not going to be able to finish that degree anymore. So what do you do with those people? What are they going to do? You know what I mean? So this is there is this big gap, because the reason I can talk about this is because I've had teachers in 3 different countries, including United States, right? United States, Lithuania, and Armenia. There's a big, big difference between the teachers in Armenia, between the teachers in Lithuania, and between the teachers in United States.
I can also say there's a big difference between Cuba and American.
They're the same.
In Cuba, I would get whipping.
Yes. So when the kids come from foreign countries, they tend to be a little bit smarter when it comes to education. Teachers are truly smart. Being a teacher as a profession as it was in Lithuania and Armenia, it was a pride thing. When you're a teacher, it's a pride thing. And the country looked at you, oh, they're a teacher. Like, that's a elevated level of pride, sense of pride. Here we don't have that. And a lot of times what happens is, not a lot of times, I think on balance of probabilities, you're going to get people that are not that smart that become teachers because they can't do anything else. Like, some of the best teachers I've had were professor university teachers in United States. Those professor teachers that were greatest that were doing a business on the side. They had their own business going, right? Making hella money. And they're like, yeah, I just have free time. I'm just going to go teach. See what I mean? Those were the people that truly knew what they were doing. So majority of the times what will happen is a lot of the teachers, they have no idea. They're teaching a subject they've never done anything about. They'll teach a business subject and they've never had a business in their life, right? So like most I've ever learned were from teachers that actually had their own business. Like, for example, international marketing, I'm just going to bring it as an example. The guy had his own business doing, and then he was teaching. He's like, yeah, this salary is garbage. He goes, it just barely pays for my taxes on a business that I have. And he was a 10-year teacher making well over $200,000. See what I mean? So my point is that, yeah, teachers don't get paid enough, but they're also not the brightest. The minute you increase the salaries, more people are going to go. They're going to be smarter, and they're going to teach your kids smarter things. That's the bottom line. But we can't do that, because the minute you make
bad kids, though.
Huh?
You got some badass kids.
Yeah, so those badass kids, man, I mean, they're delinquents. They're delinquents. You should treat them as such. Sorry.
I think that's another contributing factor of people wanting to be teachers.
Sorry. Like, you going to school to learn something. I don't care how you feel at that moment. You know? I don't care about your opinion or ideas. I'm the teacher. I'm the captain now. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
So today we're gonna have to cut short, actually, because Fofo's gotta go. So
I mean, y'all could continue on. I appreciate y'all having me on. I just got my beautiful girlfriend in the background who's waiting on me. We're about to go out and probably go get something to eat and stuff. We haven't eaten anything. That sounds good. So.
I'm hungry. I haven't had dinner yet.
So you don't cut short by me, man.
Yeah. So, I mean, where are we at with 30 minutes? Yeah, let's run for another 25 minutes or so. Or do you want to cut it short? You guys stuff to do?
Not that I have stuff to do, but I mean, I'm down to just cut it now.
All right. We'll have a short. Anyway, I went on my rant as usual, guys. I know you love to hate, so keep showing up. I'm going to give you more of these rants. Going to get your blood boiling.
Misogynistic. No, just kidding.
Yeah. Define it.
Yeah, right. What does it mean to be that? Or what does it mean that
it means you love women.
Yeah. All right, guys. On your way out, please hit that like button. We cut this short a little bit. Guess gotta go.
Not like it's crazy short.
Yeah. But anyway, you still got some good content. You still got me to go on the rants. You still got me to contradict to what you're saying, guys, in the chat. And I know that's what you're coming for. So I'm going to give you more of that every time you're here. But anyway, shout out to your fellow engineers. Again, guys, on your way out, please hit the like button. And thanks.